Hold on, let me fill this in real quick, because I remember who I chose.
Well, here we go. We're getting rolling right now.
So many stupid things.
You would. There's no doubt about it. And no better way to do that with the mayhem coming in at the last minute. We're back on the live feed, everybody. We've been doing a few episodes of this, just all local in-house, but we figured, you know what, let's get back to the people. Let's get back to our roots here on this episode of Metrics and Mayhem. My name's Earl Phillips, the Metrics of the Equation, and over here banging out the text and the DraftKings lineups. That's Don Melchior, the Mayhem, getting after it. Good to be back here, another episode with everybody. We got a few things that we're going to talk about today. As always, we're going to play our Metrics and Mayhem Millionaire game later on today, and we have my former co-host for an episode subbing in for Dom. We got Greg Dineo coming in to challenge. He'll be challenging the Mayhem, or if you guys want, you can play together.
No, I kind of want to challenge.
All right, so
I don't want to be a team with anybody, because nobody brings the level of just fuck it.
Right, like this guy.
That I do.
We're going to go from family show to non-family show at this point.
Listen, until we're on the air, on the radio.
Yes.
This is Netflix.
And even at that point, right there, we really can't contain you. We're not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to have that drop button ready to go.
We've got talk about our Philadelphia 76ers. We've got some NFL quarterback fantasy tier talk coming up. Dom's going to bring us up to speed on all things baseball. We got some Scottish Open talk coming up this week, a little bit of fantasy 12-team draft. We got rosters built up to talk about those teams. But before we get into any of that, my man, how was your 4th of July?
4th of July was great. Hot. Played a little golf the day after 4th of July.
And where did you play?
Oh, at the Legacy Club.
At the Legacy Club.
Yeah, it's always the Legacy Club.
Okay.
I mean, I paid for it. I might as well use it.
Not a sponsor, but could be. Remember that?
I doubt that.
Okay.
I'm not high up on that love list for obvious reasons.
And you're the reigning Rookie of the Year. Is that right?
I am the reigning Legacy Cup champion.
Legacy Cup champion?
Yeah, Legacy Cup champion, which means it's like the FedEx Cup.
Yes.
Points leader. I didn't win the club championship or anything like that. That's for the better golfers. But
you show up enough.
I showed up and I showed out.
Yeah, I like that.
In all of the Legacy Cup tournament.
That's very good. Awesome. And what kind of shape is the Legacy Club in right now?
It's in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
It's in fantastic shape. I have nothing but great things to say about the golf course.
Awesome.
And anybody who wants to come out, let me know.
As well you should. Not to mention awesome pool. I see some pictures up over there too. Good for the family.
Great for the family. And they put up some little blow-up slides and stuff now for the kids.
Oh, is that right?
Occupied, yeah.
I like that. Well, you guys are out doing the work.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, let's get into it, Dom. First thing that's up, the Philadelphia 76ers on my list. This is going back now to the Andrew Bynum years. But it has been a very long time since I'm going to say what I'm saying right now. But I think I am back in on the 76ers. I think it's that simple. I am back in. I am scarred from the Spencer Haws, the Andrew Bynums. But this Paul George signing, he is 35. He is old. Older, I'll say. But I'll say with the starting five that we have right now and the energy around this team, I think I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm curious about your thoughts about this is really Daryl Morey's first true offseason putting something together. So your thoughts about where the Sixers stand right now.
Two things. I've never been more not surprised that you're back in with the Sixers, because you are a front runner. You do not go through the tough times with any of the teams. You only love them when they're good.
There's too much efficiency required.
Yeah, I get it. You're an elitist.
Yes.
You're Villanova. But, that's just what it is. You're you're a blue blood Vanderbilt type guy, and that's the way you're always going to be. Now, with that being said, for the rest of us who've suffered through the Markelle Fultz, Jahlil Okafor, Ben Simmons, Nerlens Noel, Michael Carter Williams,
MCW.
All of those years, I think
I was in on the Michael Carter Williams year. I think I had tickets to a Michael Carter Williams year.
But even still.
But no, I definitely didn't.
Your heart was
the Andrew Bynum thing destroyed me as a Sixers fan. That hurt.
Yeah. But this lineup that we have now, and even though Paul George he's 34, he'll be 35 at the start of next year.
Right around 34, 35, yeah.
It's a 4-year contract. It's a 2-year window.
Yep.
This is win the next 2 years, and who cares about the 2 years after that?
Understood.
That's how I look at it. 34, 35 in basketball shape. He came off one of his best statistical years last year, and he played 72 games. So I think his body can handle it. So for me, I'm fine with Paul George. I'm absolutely fine with Paul George being on this team. I have zero issues with the contract. It ain't my money.
Not my money.
It's not my money. It's not my
And go get your money. If you're Paul George, go get paid.
Go get their money. Listen,
Right?
they got the 12th man on the Sixers still making probably $9 million a year. Basketball has stupid money in it.
Yes.
I mean, if you want kids out there, don't be a football player.
Don't be a fool. Yes.
Be a basketball player because they make the most money out of everybody. Let's be honest.
Yep.
But I got zero issues with the Paul George contract, and just because I know the next 2 years this is also the best we're going to get out of Paul George in the next 2 years. It's also probably the best we're ever going to get out of Joel Embiid ever again, because he is going to be on that down slope. He's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years, and he's not going to get healthier. Big men don't get healthier as they get older.
True. And you also have to worry about the load management and all that stuff,
Yeah.
yada, yada, yada. Paul George apparently changing his number, going with number 8 as a tribute to Kobe.
Love that.
Love that, too.
Yeah.
I think he's buying into the city, buying into the vibe. Some beef with Kelly Oubre as well from a history hasn't treated those two well. To be interesting to see those two interact on the same team. Always been a fan of Maxey coming out of school, too. I think this team, built as is, will definitely give Boston a run for their
They'll
money.
give Boston a run.
Are they able to beat the Celtics?
Yes, I think so, because I think history has shown how hard it is to go back to back, especially in today's NBA. I mean, maybe back in the day where nobody left teams, but now everybody's leaving teams to go create better teams.
Go create super teams,
Super
right?
teams. So, I mean, yeah, you could get three-peats the way Jordan did, because Karl Malone wasn't leaving the Jazz to go join the Knicks.
Correct.
You know, or the Pacers. You know, he wasn't joining up with Reggie Miller to go beat him.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, it was easier back in the 90s and the 80s to three-peat, but now it's tough. Now, you know, if you get a repeat team, when was the last repeat team? It had to be the Heat, right?
No, Golden State.
Golden State. And even then, Golden State had their lulls.
And look at them now.
Yeah, and look at them now. They're you know.
And you would sign up for that, right? Like if
Give
you're
it to me.
right, give me the championships and then completely break it apart.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
Yeah.
give me 2 championships and you can suck again for another 40 years. I don't care. I just want to say a couple. Give me 2.
Gosh,
Utah.
I want.
Give me 2.
I have no idea what that means, but we'll get to that later.
We're going to get to that.
NFL, should we do NFL? Let's get while we're rolling. You got a good groove right here. Let's get some baseball talk happening right now.
Yeah.
You're fighting Phils. Last I checked, have had a decent season.
Best record in baseball.
Ranger
Yep.
Suarez doing Ranger Suarez things apparently.
Coming back down there.
Is that right?
He's
Coming
coming
back?
back down there a little bit.
I
We
saw-
kind of knew that would happen.
I saw on Bobby Cox Day they got beat around a little bit right there.
He got rocked.
But
in the second game of the Brave series.
As
too.
the resident baseball expert here, give me some good about the Fightins right now.
They're getting healthier.
Okay.
They're going to get 3 of their big bats back.
Rolling into the All-Star game as well, right?
Yeah, they're going to get JT, Schwarber, and Harper back. And the fact that they were an over 500 team with those 3 out is a testament to how good the pitching staff has been. It's a testament to how good Alec Boehm and Brandon Marsh and even that scumbag Nick Castellanos.
The scumbag, huh?
Yeah, well, he stinks, and I hate him. I hate Nick Castellanos.
That Detroit Tigers Nick
I hate him.
Castellanos?
No,
Come on, man.
that guy would be awesome. On
Oh,
this
I
team.
see.
We got the worst of Nick Castellanos. I would even take the Reds' Nick Castellanos.
Is that
But
right?
We got the worst Nick Castellanos out of all the teams that he's been on. He's the worst on the Phillies. But it's just a testament to how good the team is. It's a testament to how good the front office put together a group that would still maintain greatness even if somebody got hurt.
Your thoughts on the manager?
He's doing a great job.
Is that right?
I think modern managers manage people with personalities now. I mean, like in-game baseball moves. I think anybody can do that.
Right.
To manage this team, to manage the pitching staff, and to kind of navigate through all the bullshit that happens when you bring guys up, send guys down, mix and match different things. I think he's done a great job. So the one thing I do say about Philly Rob is that sometimes I think that's his nickname, Philly Rob. One thing I think he does do is I think he is too quick on the trigger to get somebody out to go to his bullpen. We saw that a lot in the postseason last year, and I think it bit him in the ass. because then you get looks at, you don't want looks at your bullpen. You don't want batters to see, you don't want tape on your bullpen guys. You can have tape on your starting pitchers because that's what they are.
Absolutely, yeah, right.
You don't want tape on Max Strom. You don't.
Henry Rowan-Gardner. You don't want any tape on.
And you don't want him going out there and pitching too much.
Yes.
So I think he's a little quick on the trigger with that. That's my only criticism.
How about the success of the team, like you were talking about, without the big bats? You bring the bats back. Does it kind of get messed with the mojo a little bit? We're doing fine without these guys.
No,
not at all.
I mean, no. It's your three best players on the team.
And everybody's good, right? There's no drama.
We have the three best players on our team hurt right now, and we're still winning.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Your thoughts about the end of the regular season? This team will be a playoff team. This team will be a World Series team. This team will
be an NLCS lock.
Okay.
But when you get to the NLCS, anything can happen. Guys can go into slumps. We saw it last year. Castellanos couldn't miss the ball in the NLDS.
Your thoughts on Castellanos? Sorry.
I'll get into it.
Okay.
Castellanos couldn't miss the ball in the NLDS. Couldn't even look at it in the NLCS. He was just missing by a mile.
Yeah.
And people go cold.
Yep.
And that it happens.
Just got to get to the playoffs.
Anything
can happen in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. I think they're an NLCS lock. I still think the Yankees are probably the World Series favorite because it's the friggin' Yankees and they buy everybody. And Soto is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think Soto would be this good in New York, but he's been that good in New York. Him and Judge have been the two best, 1-2 pop in baseball, and that's saying something because there's a lot of good 1-2 pops.
A lot of bats going around.
Yeah, but they're by far those two. It's them two, and then there's a big drop off. Yeah, so, but their pitching staff is struggling, which is a good thing.
World Series, NLCS, Phillies, Yankees. You getting excited about that?
If it's Phillies, Yankees in the World Series, my anxiety is going to go through the roof because I can't watch the Yankees win another world title against the Phillies because I hate the Yankees. You know that.
I do, but that's an excitement though. That would be the best outcome of all possible World Series.
It would be the best outcome for MLB, the best outcome for viewership. It would be the most anxiety driven for me.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Good. We could use a little anxiety out of you. You've been too calm recently. This is it. Segueing over to fantasy football. Let's talk quarterbacks coming up right now. So. This research comes from Warren Sharp, who, if you're not familiar with Warren's work, it's absolutely tremendous. His book, his 2024 preview, will be coming out probably in the next couple days or so. I've been kind of licking my chops over that one. But Warren released an article going over quarterback tiers and something that we're going to break down right now. Tier 1 being the more elite, and this is all strictly fantasy right now. So fantasy football points broken down into 3 tiers. We're going to break those down right now. In Tier 1, Warren lists 4 quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, not necessarily in that order, but just as in a top-tier quarterback kind of concept right now, the elite scorers in fantasy football. Tier 2, your Anthony Richardsons, your Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, and Deshaun Watson. And then your Tier 3 into like a C.J. Stroud, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua, all kind of round out that top 3. So when we're drafting, first of all, why don't we get your reaction to these 3 tiers? Anybody seem out of place or anything that you think is kind of spot on? How do you react to these groupings?
I think Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy being in Tier 3 when Williams and Richardson. And
yeah, man, you hate Anthony Richardson, don't you?
I don't like him. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, and I really don't think Caleb Williams is going to be anything special either. I think he's going to be a huge bust.
Is that right?
Oh, he's very zesty.
Okay.
He's very zesty.
All right.
Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow, and even Dak Prescott being in Tier 3. I mean, Dak Prescott puts up numbers.
Well, I wonder how much Prescott puts up. You're losing Kellen Moore to the Eagles. Yep. You also lost a lot on the offensive line, too. I think Dallas actually takes a nosedive.
Oh, yeah, they do, but he still chucks it.
He does.
He is getting closer and closer to my guy. That I think we all know who my guy is.
You mean the starting quarterback in Cleveland? If Watson's shoulder's not right?
Yeah, if Watson's shoulder's not right. Eat that W.
Eat that W.
I'm still going to get him on the podcast.
We are a pro. Well, I shouldn't say we. Dom's definitely taking the lead on the pro Jameis stance over here.
Jameis.
But yeah, you're doing great
He
work.
puts up numbers. I mean, that's the thing. Like when it comes to fantasy, you have to take record out of it. You have to take, what you think of them being a winner out of it. It's strictly on the numbers. So I understand how Brock Purdy is that low because I still think he's a top 5 fantasy quarterback last year.
I don't remember where he finished last year, but we got Jeff writing in asking about C.J. Stroud not being in Tier 1. Any thoughts on that? Up to Tier 1? Because you have shown some C.J. Stroud love.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud escaped me there. He should be in Tier 2. Tier 1, maybe. I think that team is very strong now. They're a Super Bowl dark horse for next year, I think.
Your Houston Texans?
Oh yeah. Texans are going to be a wagon.
We were talking about that with Mike the Mouth too, with he and Dan Campbell. D'Amico Ryan's having to fight it out.
Yeah.
The Anthony Richardson one, I think we couldn't be more apart on.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm definitely on board with Anthony Richardson.
I'm glad. You can take him.
Points per dropback. It was an injury-riddled season for Richardson, but I do like a Steichen and a points per dropback. He's up in the actually Tier 1 region with his scoring. So I think a full year out of Anthony Richardson could be interesting. The 2 rookies show up in Tier 2. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. You've already expressed your maybe your poo-pooing of Caleb Williams. Any thoughts on Jaden Daniels in Washington?
Man, it's Washington.
Nothing.
It's Washington. They'll find a way to fuck it up. They always do. So I can't take him seriously because of who he plays for. I can't take him seriously because of the just the overall shittiness of that franchise.
You got Trevor Lawrence, who, if I'm not mistaken, just made a boatload of money.
You never have a good season after you sign that big contract.
I mean, boy, oh boy, does that.
Look at Hurts. He signed a big contract and he kind of shit the bed last year.
It wasn't. It was. I think he's going to have a much stronger year this year.
Trevor Lawrence is going to have a terrible year this year because he has that money now.
He got that money. He got paid.
He got paid.
And how about Tua? Your thoughts on Tua? Is this a make or break year for Tua? Is he done after this year?
I don't like lefties.
You guys got a problem with lefties?
I just got problems with lefties. They look weird to me when they throw a football.
You know James is going to come out one time.
He throws the left hand.
With a little mustard.
That'd be the only way that James and me don't get along. If he starts throwing lefty. I don't like lefties. I just think they're weird. I will never have a lefty quarterback on my fantasy team.
All right, I like that. I can get behind that. Moving on, while we're talking about the rookies, the offensive rookie of the year talk is still going around. The odds have completely stayed the same on the top 10 picks. Out of the last 6 years, one of the top 10 picks from the draft has won rookie of the year, so I kept it around that. And monitoring those 10, everybody's odds have pretty much stayed the same, with Caleb Williams as the front runner at plus 135. Bears have an 8.5 game win total, heavily juiced to the over. It essentially means 9-8. I'd say if the Bears make it to 9-8, Caleb Williams is probably the reason why that's happening. But one notable move on Offensive Rookie of the Year comes in on Ladd McConkey at plus 3,000. His odds have dropped from about plus 5,000. So somebody with some pretty influential money, or say with a little bit of money on the Georgia wideout.
Sure.
So you got no problems with that.
I would not put any money on Caleb Williams or Jalen Daniels winning Rookie of the Year. But there is somebody on that list with some pretty good odds that I would take a flyer on.
Who are you taking him on?
Drake May.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, Tom Brady Jr., huh?
I mean, listen, it's a new staff. It's a new direction up in New England. They're going to let that kid go.
Look at you,
They're going to let him go.
Patriots right now.
He's not going to win.
Patriots right now at a 4.5 game win total. How fall the mighty have fallen.
I mean,
blow it up, right?
Blow it up. That's what they did.
Blow it up.
They blow it up. Drake May, yeah. I mean, let the kid go. Let him air it out. Let him get 350 every Sunday with 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Who cares?
I like it. And you can get him very, very late in the draft, too, as one to keep in mind. Speaking of the draft, that's what you call pro transition. Up here on the board, I did a 12-team draft. We've been going through this each week. We've been doing the podcast, and I'm expanding each week. So right now, we're set up for a starting lineup. So in our league, we go quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, tight end, and a flex. Obviously, kicker and defense, but I excluded them from this draft. And then once I edit all the video, I'll have this posted up at the same time, so you'll see what we're seeing up here. But essentially, take a look at some of these teams. Everybody's got essentially 3 receivers. There's a couple teams, like Team 9 has 3 running backs to Breece Hall, Taylor, and Henry. Again, this is all based on average draft position right now. So when you get a gander of these teams right now, we're trying to ascertain some information about what spot we want to draft, what spots, teams kind of happen to fall into things that we like. So I can tell you, I've got a couple of teams that, one I love and ones that I'm not necessarily keen on. But would you like me to throw it over to you first? Any teams out of these that you happen to like?
Okay, that way. I'm trying to find out where row 7 goes. If it goes this way or if it goes
Row
that
7's
way.
going this way.
I'm big fan of Team 7.
Okay.
Big fan of Team 12.
Team 12, okay. And Team 7, just to call this out, you're looking at Jaden Daniels as your starting quarterback, Bijan Robinson and Kenneth Walker at the backs, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, and Kyle Pitts.
Big fan of Team 2.
Team 2. All right, so let's talk Team 2.
Yeah.
We got Dak, who you've already expressed is going to chuck it. You got Saquon, Devon Achane. You got C.D. Lamb, T. Higgins, Hollywood Brown, and Jake Ferguson. A lot of cowboy on that team for you.
I know.
So tell me what you like about that team.
I think Saquon's going to be a load this year. I think the Eagles finally have a 3-down back that they're going to use.
Okay.
Even though they have all these weapons, and those weapons are going to garner a lot of attention, I think that's why he's going to have a good year.
Okay.
Is because it's going to open up the field for him.
And an incredibly improved offensive line for Saquon as well.
Yeah, over what he had, absolutely.
Yep.
T. Higgins is still good. Hollywood Brown, while I don't really love the throwing ability of Lamar, I still think Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood's in KC
Oh,
now.
is he in KC now? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, Pat Mahomes actually.
Oh, yeah. I especially love that team now.
Okay.
Did that happen to the all season? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I get caught up on that.
That's why we do this.
Hollywood Brown being in KC makes me love Team 2 even more.
Team 2.
I'm not big on tight ends. I don't really give a shit about Jake Ferguson, but I'm sure he'll do fine.
You mentioned Team 12. Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Brooks, Drake London, Jaden Reed, Chris Godwin, and Travis Kelce.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Gibbs is great. London is going to be a 1,200-yard receiver this year.
You're all kirked up. I like
listen,
that.
Kirk Cousins is not a winner, but he is a stat collector.
Stat killer.
And the fact that he is not on this board already, and Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love and Caleb Williams is an absolute goddamn travesty and a steal.
I can get with you.
I mean, that is a steal. Yeah. Kirk Cousins can be my quarterback for my fantasy team any day.
Will you hear that, Kirk?
Any day.
Not a sponsor,
because
Kirk.
Again, I know you won't win anything, and I know that you will be throwing in the fourth quarter.
That's exactly right.
I don't want a Jalen Hurts. Like, I think 2 years ago when the Eagles were just whipping everybody in the first half, you didn't get a single point from Jalen Hurts in the second half. And it killed you.
Yep.
But yeah, I know Kirk Cousins is going to be chucking that ball in the fourth quarter. So the fact that he's not on this board is an absolute steal.
Completely agree.
Yeah, that's a great team too. Josh Allen, I mean, it's Josh Allen. He's another one that's
top scorer every year.
Top scorer
no
every
doubt.
year. Yeah, so that's a good team too.
I'll tell you, I got a fancy for Team 9. As these drafts go later and later, I'm finding out the workhorse back. We talked about this before. I love the concept of having Breece, Jonathan Taylor, and Derrick Henry. I think Henry in Baltimore, that's going to be a significant improvement. A lot of goal line touches for him, obviously. Yeah. And you've got Lamar, too, so it's not like you can stack the box up against Derrick Henry as much as you could in Tennessee. If you're back there with Will Levis, that's one thing. Lamar's a different story.
Sure.
Caleb Williams is the quarterback on that team, and that's another one. To use your logic, I do not expect the Bears to be blowing people out. I think that they could be playing from behind quite a bit, so Caleb could have quite a bit of action.
But he's throwing – he got one weapon.
You got Keenan Allen.
He got one weapon in Chicago.
One.
I would double Keenan Allen and be like, Caleb, go ahead, knock yourself out, throw it somewhere else.
I don't know.
That's why I don't think that Keenan Allen, Caleb Williams connection is not going to do any good.
Well, you had the same thing happening in Los Angeles, too, with the Chargers, right? With Justin Herbert and
Herbert's
Keenan Allen.
a better quarterback than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but do you have to be when Keenan Allen's that tall? Get the ball up there.
He's also getting old.
Keenan Allen is? Even still. I think same thing with the Paul George argument. He's at a point in his career where he's just looking to win. Yeah. Right?
Why would you go to Chicago?
Oh, I think there's a lot of mojo around Chicago
now.
Yeah.
No what's their win total?
8.5 right now. Heavily juiced over.
Under.
There he is.
Under.
I like it.
Under.
All right.
Thursday nights and the
Mr. Thursday night.
Thursday
back
nights
in the house.
and the Bears. Under.
I like it. All right. Moving on, we had, I guess while we're at win totals right now, Your thoughts about how difficult the Eagles. So what I did right now is get this. I gotta go this way. Taking the win totals right now that Vegas has, pulled in the Eagle. Well, really every team's schedule because that's what we do. 1 to 32, strength of schedule wise. Where do you think the Eagles rank? I'll tell you right now, the New England Patriots, by win totals only, have the hardest schedule that they're facing this year.
That means they'll actually have a better schedule, because I think if you have the hardest schedule going in from the previous year, those teams aren't as good as they're going to be, because there's always drop off.
Okay.
There's always drop off. So I don't think that. I think in 2025,
Yes.
or 2026, when the New England Patriots come out with their strength of schedule, they'll probably be around 15.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that it always happens that way.
So we're going off of this year's projected win totals.
I love my Drake May pick even better now.
So you're going there. Your Philadelphia Eagles, where do you think they rank? 1 to 32.
Well, they were really low last year, right?
They had a challenging schedule last year. I wouldn't say super challenging.
That's what I mean, low, as far as like in the 1 through whatever. Probably, I would say probably like 12 to 15.
How about 25, Dom?
Really?
Yep. Much easier schedule than the majority of the league.
That sucks, because that means that those teams are going to be even better.
So right now, looking at about 25.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Your Atlanta Falcons right now statistically have the easiest strength of schedule, followed by the Chargers and then the Jets. The Jets, Jets.
Yeah, they win that division.
9.5 is their win total right
Over.
now.
Take the
which
over.
is that's definitely saying something.
Take the over.
All right. Do you have your Scottish Open picks?
I do.
All right. Let's do Scottish Open. We'll pull up our DraftKings right now. Dom and I are going to do a golf segment each week. The tournaments that are coming up. We're coming up to the end of the year right now, but we'll be looking to do a 6-member lineup on DraftKings. Just a classic where you get X amount of salary. You have to pick 6 golfers. You get scoring based on who makes cuts, bogeys, pars, all that sort of stuff, usual deal.
Yep.
So if you have yours, Dom, feel free to head in. And if anybody wants to hop in and join with us, let us know. We'll share the contest link. That way you can see how you stack up against Metrics and Mayhem.
So I'm going to go with my first pick, and he's a guy who's just been there all year. Xander.
That's all right. We share them.
Xander. I mean, it's a lock, right?
That's one.
Yeah, Xander. Then,
at 11,700 with Xander.
At 11,700, another guy who's just due for a win, Colin Morikawa.
Colin. I don't have him. Yep. Okay.
You know, I listen. He's due.
Yes. Playing great golf.
Yep.
Just not getting there.
New guy, Sebastian Soderberg.
Okay.
Like his game. Another guy, Tom McKibben.
Yep.
Irishman. Si-Woo Kim.
Si-Woo Kim is deadly. That's a great pick.
Si-Woo Kim, and then Tom Hoagie.
Tom Hoge. Very good. I'm going with little Scotty Scheffler, buddy. How about Tom Kim at 9,500? Billy White Shoes Horschel at 7,200. I'm coming in with cheap one, 5,300. But give me a little Drag Harrington at 5,300. Made 15 out of 20 cuts this year, which is nice. Emilio Grillo, who's another sneaky one at 6,100 for me, and touchdown Tommy Fleetwood at 9,900.
I'll never take a flyer on Fleetwood.
Is that right?
He's a hate to face guy.
Oh, I'm a Tommy fan. So we've got those in. Those are our picks for the Scottish Open. We'll see who fares better with the Metrics or the Mayhem. And I think we got that. The last thing, movies.
Movies,
right?
yes.
So one thing that we were looking to get into, I've self-admittedly been an absolutely horrible watch of movies in my life. And we said America loves a bracket, so we're going to go to the people with this one. Dom has been tasked with creating a bracket of 8. Is that right?
I'm doing 4 categories of 8.
4 categories of 8. So we are setting up a bracket, and these are all movies. We've gone over the list. I don't know how they're organized. I don't know how they're seated.
They are seated in this order, and it's not that I seated them in any particular order. I just literally listed 1 through 8. So let's just keep it that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
so there's no.
Because what I did was I made about a list of like 30 movies, and I chose 8 from that 30 in what I feel you should watch. But they're all number ones to me, so they all can be just seated just by how we list it.
Understood.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you have this written down?
I have it written down.
All right, cool. So then I'll get to the tech end of that, and we'll get this up. But we're also going to want to hear your thoughts on this as well. I'm going to make the dedication to watch a matchup of movies a week. And then when we come back on, we'll talk, we'll shop on the movies, and then I'm going to give my pick for what advances into the next round, and we'll see how, I guess, my rankings fare against
You're going to
your
watch
thing.
all these movies in 1 week?
Not all of these movies. I'm going to do a matchup. So if we have like a 1 versus an 8, you know what I mean? We got to spread out a bit. I don't have that kind of time. But that said, we've got 8 movies that are coming at me right now, right?
Movies. These are I have
only sports movies. 4
categories. I have sports, comedy, drama, and when we get to this one, you're going to hate me. Trilogies.
I love it. Awesome.
So,
all right, take it away.
Have fun watching 6 movies in a week.
Go ahead, take it away.
I got now the award-winning listeners. Don't lose your minds when you hear that these are movies that he hasn't watched.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's terrible.
And I'm looking forward to this as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so I went with Rudy, Field of Dreams, Moneyball.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
White Men Can't Jump. Remember the Titans.
Nope.
Hoosiers.
Can you believe I've never seen Hoosiers? Yeah, that's terrible.
Caddyshack.
Yep.
And Miracle.
No. That's 8.
So we have 2 football movies.
Okay.
2 baseball movies.
Oh, are these going to go heads up against each other?
No.
Okay.
2 baseball movies. 2 basketball movies. 1 golf, 1 hockey.
Man,
that's talking hockey.
I love it. All right, so what's the first matchup?
The first matchup looks like it's Rudy versus Field of Dreams.
Rudy versus Field of Dreams. All right, so this week I'm going to set aside the time. I'm going to watch Rudy. I'm going to watch Field of Dreams. We can maybe get some questions back and forth talking about it. Hop on if you definitely want to join us and kind of get in some of the debate. But when it's all said and done, I'm going to make my recommendation for what moves on to the next round. Your thoughts?
I think that's a great first round matchup.
Personally, nothing else, man.
I think that's a great first round matchup.
All right, very good. Well, that said, we're going to move to the Millionaire segment, but this one we're going to do off air, and I'll post this later because if anybody's watching, you're going to get a little bit of an advantage on the Mayhem. So we're going to record our Millionaire, and then this episode we're going to have Dom go up against Greg Dineo. So we're going to do Dom's first. That way we know how much Dom has made. We can't release that information to Greg because again, your challenge is to try to beat the Mayhem. Ties go to the Mayhem. So if you end up at 1,000,
champion's advantage.
That's right. So
no countouts, no disqualifications.
That said, we're going to roll on the live feed. So Dom, as always, a pleasure. We're going to keep this going. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking this out. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. Please start circulating this out to your friends, people in our network. We are trying to push this over the summer and even beyond. So if you happen to think of it, throw some likes, throw some love our way. The more we grow is based on your input and your interests. So we ask you for your help, and we hope you guys support the podcast. So thanks very much. We'll see you soon.